Have you ever heard people use the term becoming your future self? Whenever they're talking about manifestation and creating a life that you love and your dream life and all that, you will hear people say you have to become your future self in order for those things to happen. And if you are anything like me, you were like, what does that actually mean? What does becoming yourself, your future self mean? Like how? Like, how do you actually do that? How do you jump into the future and pick this person and put that version of you into this current version of you? I got you. We're going to talk about it today.
I don't know how this thing works, but screw it, I'ma do it anyway. I don't know how this will turn out, but screw it, I'ma do it anyway. I don't know how this thing works, but screw it, I'ma do it anyway. I don't know how this will turn out, but screw it, I'ma do it anyway.
What is up, good people? It's your girl, Nikki P. Welcome back to another episode of Soul Untamed, where embodying your future self starts today. So, if you are new here, first of all, welcome. As I said, I am Nikki P. I am many things. I am a creator. I am a Spanish speaker. I am a business owner. I am a, not fitness guru, but a person who cares very much about their fitness. Basically, I am a woman who is determined to live as her most authentic self every single day and to do it without apologies every single day. And usually on this channel, I talk about the things that have kept us stuck, for all of my people who are like me, who desire to be living their best life, their dream life, whatever you want to call it, basically waking up to a life that you love every single day. I'm speaking to those people because if you are like me, you have been living somebody else's life for however many years. And I talk about the things that keep you stuck because for me, it wasn't making sense that I have this dream. Why is it so hard for me to work towards this dream? Until I realized that I was being held hostage basically by limiting beliefs that I had carried for a majority of my life. And in order for me to start building this new life, I had to dismantle those limiting beliefs. I had to reframe them, and then I had to start embodying the version of me that is living that life. And so that is what I talk about here on this channel. So again, if you are new here, welcome to you. For those of you who have been rocking with me, welcome back. So today, I specifically want to talk about embodiment, because I have spent a lot of time talking about limiting beliefs and identifying the limiting beliefs, and then talking about how you reframe those beliefs, and then now I want to talk about how you embody them in real time, because I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. We think that transformation is supposed to be a feeling. We think we're supposed to feel that first before all the different things come. We think that before we become the fitness girlies, we have to feel like working out or feel like eating right. If you are a business owner, have aspirations to be a business owner, we think that we're supposed to feel that identity first, and then all of a sudden you feel successful, and all the success just starts to come because now you have this confidence. You feel. And when we don't see that first, then we think something's not working. Well, I think it's actually the opposite. You do the thing first, and then the feelings, the confidence, the success, all that comes after you start. And that's the thing that doesn't make sense to a lot of us, because it seems like you would get the things together first, right? We spend a lot of time in the preparation phase. If you are building your business, we spend so much time in the courses, paying for the coaches, sitting in the mentor, getting into the mastermind groups, and we'll stay in this phase for so long because we keep waiting for this thing to happen. I have been through that same thing myself, and to be honest with you, still going through it. I have created so many digital products. You want to know how many of those products I released? Because I kept thinking, oh, I have to feel like it's ready. This has to look like this before it can become that. And the reality is that it is backwards. It is backwards. You have to put the thing out first. We have to do something that a lot of us are afraid to do and not willing to do. And I hesitate to even use this word because I feel like there's a bad connotation to it, but it's like you have to fail first. And failure not in the sense of, oh, this is horrible, this is bad, but failing in the sense of, in order for you to know what works, you have to just try stuff. And then if it works, okay, great, note it, and then you keep doing more of that thing. But if it doesn't work, okay, instead of feeling like a failure, okay, what didn't work is data. That's the thing. But in order for you to get the data, you have to do the thing first. You have to be the thing first. You have to go work out first. You have to go to the gym first. You have to get the trainer if this is what you want to do. You have to get the trainer first. You have to do all these things first. If you want to go back to school, you have to do the things. You have to sign up for the thing. You have to become visible. If you're getting on social media for the first time, you have to become visible before the feelings. You have to get on camera when you don't feel like it. You have to, if you're learning another language like I am, you have to speak before you're ready. That's the only way that you learn. And I think that because so many of us have got it backwards and we keep waiting for this feeling, I think that that stops us from being able to understand what embodiment means. What embodiment means. Because basically, the definition of embodiment is you taking on the characteristics, doing the actions of the version of you that is already living that life. And that's where a lot of us get tripped up because we're looking from these eyes. We keep creating from the version of ourselves that is basically living out the limiting beliefs that we still have, instead of stepping into the version of ourselves who is later down the line and doing the actions and keeping the habits that that person has in this current version of us. So the action and the evidence comes before the confidence comes. So now that I have talked about what embodiment actually means, let me give you some examples from my life in regards to that. So, like I said earlier, I do a lot of things. In business, I have a couple of different businesses. Me being a content creator is one of them. So, in me being a content creator, I didn't wait until I had all the answers. When I first started Soul Untamed, I just had a basic idea of what I wanted to communicate to my audience. I knew that I wanted to help other women who were like me, who were navigating life's different transitions and trying to make sense of everything, but feeling disconnected from who they are. And knowing that there's something better, something more, they have these desires, they don't know what to do with them, and just wanting to live a life that they love. And I knew that part. I didn't know how I was going to show up on camera. I started, even actually, if you go back to my older videos, I tried to start with a vlog style. That's what I was going to do because I was following influencers that were doing the same thing. But I realized in me doing it that vlogging, trying to walk around with the camera and capturing all these different moments in my life, I knew that I wasn't going to do that well. So I transitioned from doing that to what you see me doing now, which is standing in front of the camera and speaking from my heart. That's what I seem to do better in. But if I had waited until all of the answers came to me, I would not have started. I just knew in the beginning that I had this desire to, one, help my own self get from living a life that really was created from beliefs that I learned from other people into this version of me that was living and thriving, not surviving, thriving in my life every single day. And I wanted to bring people on a journey with me. I didn't wait until all of that was crystal clear. I started, and then as I started, and even still now as I'm doing it, more things are becoming more apparent to me and more clear to me as I keep going on this journey. I still work a corporate job. But I changed in my identity with it because for a long time, I really thought that this job controlled my life. I thought like I didn't have the ability, or not the ability, but I didn't have the right to set boundaries at work. I didn't have the right to create a space that was safe for me, to speak up when something was not working for me. But oh no, I'm working for these people, so I can't say that and I can't do that because I might get fired and I need this job, and if I lose this job, then I might not get another job. And no. And I've learned how to, even though this is where I am at this current season, like being an employee, being an accountant doesn't define how I live my life. I actually now, especially in this last year, I have gotten bolder about speaking up. I set boundaries. I'm like, I am working between this hour and this hour, and that is it. I am not working outside of this. I want to work from home more. I want some extra compensation from that. I do my job well. So if you want me to take on these extra responsibilities, then you can compensate me for said responsibilities. And that was a big identity shift for me, because future version of me, who is not working a 9 to 5, by the way, this is how she shows up in her business. Future version of me is all about balance, because she is a businesswoman, she is a wife, she is a mother, she still does fitness, she makes time for herself, and she makes time for the other relationships in her life. So she doesn't have time for things to be taking up her peace of mind and to have people just taking over her life. She speaks up for herself and says, you know what, I don't have capacity for that today. And so that's what I do now. I don't have capacity for that today. You know what? My energy is just not here right now, so I'm not going to do that right now. I don't have capacity for that. That is operating from future Nikki today. As a person who is very big on fitness, and this is, I swear, every single day, every single year, this becomes something different. Future version of me doesn't care just about what it looks like. It isn't just about the vanity of looking good, but what is this fitness doing for my body? Future version of me is like, I want to be healthy. As I get older, I want to be healthy. I want to be able to enjoy my family, enjoy my kids. I want to be able to run around and keep up with my kids. I want to be able to still get up and go and have a very fruitful life outside of work and money and all of that. In order to do that, I need to be healthy. So I have choices. I make choices in this version of me to support that future version of me, the one that will thank me for all this stuff later. The going to the gym consistently, the checking in with my nutritionist to make sure that I am eating to support my specific needs, not just random needs of any person, because this is very specific for me. That is how I operate from future fitness version of Nikki. I recently took a trip to Puerto Rico. I have not traveled outside of this mainland. I know that Puerto Rico is still part of the U.S., so I can't say outside the U.S. But outside of these United States, this mainland here, Maryland, and California, and maybe a couple other states. I've been in Pennsylvania, I've been in Texas. But I have not traveled for years because I thought that I could not travel. And then an opportunity came for me this year that I said yes to. And while I was on vacation, I sat here on this beautiful beach, sitting on these rocks. I have a thing for rocks. So there was this beautiful formation of rocks right on the beach, right in the water. And I was sitting there and I just had these moments and I was like, wow, like I missed this version of me. Future version of me travels. So making this decision today to go on this trip, that was me operating and embodying habits and actions of future version of Nikki. So when I'm talking about embodiment, that is what I mean. When they say become your future self today, that is what they mean. It is getting a clear picture of what it is that you desire in your future. How do you want to be living? How do you want to wake up? What do you want your day to look like? Who do you want in your life? Understanding the type of decisions that that version of you makes. And in this current reality, in this current version of you, to make some of those decisions before you see those results. That is what embodiment means. It means going to the gym before you feel like a person who's a gym person or a fitness person. It means eating right before you feel like, that part. It means making the decisions in your business to reflect future you, even though right in this moment you don't feel ready enough, you don't feel confident enough, you don't feel creative enough to make these videos that you know that you have to put out, but it is doing it anyway. It is doing the action. It is doing the creating the habit in this version of you that reflects the future version of you. That is basically what embodiment means. Now, in saying all of that, I also want to debunk the myth of this overnight transformation, because I think that when we look at social media, we on TikTok, we on Instagram, we on YouTube, and you see these influencers and you see the final version. You see them, married, you see them with the kids, you see them in the house, you see them traveling, you see their $1 million business, you see all of these things, and you feel like it happened very quickly. Even if they say that it didn't, I think that we still feel like we do, and then bam, and it appears. And even in all the different conversations and different videos that I've seen on manifestation, you hear them talk about this quantum leaping, and you feel like that's what it's supposed to look like, that's what's supposed to happen, that you do something and bam, you're catapulted into this new reality, this new version of you, this multiverse, all of these things. And the thing is while there are instances of that, I do not want to say that doesn't happen at all. But more times than not, this is a gradual process. I started my fitness journey, like my true fitness journey, in 2022. When I started my journey, I was at my highest weight ever. And when I first started working out for like a good amount of time, I don't know how long it was, but for a good amount of time, I was not losing weight. I was not seeing the benefit of all, and I was working out hard, y'all. Like I was in the gym. You hear me? Like I was in there. And I did not see the evidence of anything that I was doing. And it did not come until later. Now, 5 years, it hasn't been 5 years, 4 years later, I am now about anywhere between 15 to 20 pounds. No, I'm 20 to 25 pounds lighter than I was when I started in 2022. But that came from consistency. Now, going to the gym is not even a question for me. Now I have become the version of me who, it's just part of what I do. It's not even a thought. It's like every day. When I was in Puerto Rico, guess what your girl was doing? I was in the gym every day. Every single day. Because even changing my environment did not change that part of who I was. Because now I have evolved into the version of me who is a fitness girly. I am about my stuff. Even before I went to Puerto Rico, I was even planning out my meals while I was here, because I was like, okay, I need to get a certain amount of protein in, and I need to make sure, and I know that I'm going to eat this, and I know I'm probably going to drink that, so I need to make sure. That is who I have evolved into, but that didn't happen overnight. That journey started in 2022. So I want you to understand that it's not an overnight process. It's not even an over-year process. It's not an over-month process. Like, you could quantum leap into this new reality, but for most of us, it's steps, it's consistent steps. And then you look up a year from now, you look up 5 years from now, you look up 10 years from now, and you're like, oh, I'm her. I'm her. But that's because you decided to make decisions from that future identity of you in the current identity. And that is what you are supposed to be doing. So now, as I close this video out, I don't know how long I've been talking, but as I close this video out, I just want you to remember that embodiment is consistently making decisions from the identity that you're creating instead of focusing on what you're trying to outgrow. That is what embodiment is. And you can do those things, small decisions, every single day. Small decisions. The identity changes first and then the evidence comes later. If you don't remember anything else that I said to you today, remember that the identity changes first and the evidence comes later. So look at your life and get very clear on where it is that you want to see yourself in all the different aspects of who you are. Who do you want to be as the business owner? Who do you want to be as the employee? Who do you want to be as the investor, as the wife, as the mother, as the friend? Who do you want to be? Get very clear on that. And what kind of habits, what kind of actions does that person do? What do they do every single day that keeps them in that identity? What do they do? Identify those. And out of all of them, because it's going to be a lot, if you really sit there and go through each one, and I would challenge you to really just focus on one thing at a time, but take one small action. If it's fitness, change one thing about going to the gym. Change one thing about your nutrition. If it's relationships, change one thing about how you show up in relationships. If it's dating, which is part of relationships, change one thing about how you feel like future version of you operates in the relationships and the people that she allows to entertain her. Who is she? What does she do? How does she dress? Do one small action from that every single day. You can start today. It doesn't have to be this grand transformation overnight because it's probably not going to be. But if you just start with one thing today, it just takes one step. And then the consistency of that. And then you build on that consistency. And next thing you know, you'll be that version of you looking back at this version of you and thanking this version of you for making those choices so that that version of you could exist. So, thank you for rocking with me all this time to let me get out all the things. I, of course, just really desire for each and every last one of you to live a life that you love. Live a life that you love and unapologetic about, and be authentic to who you are. The girl in you that had the dream however many years ago about what they wanted their life to look like, that version of you deserves the choices and the actions that you're going to take today. So, it's your girl, Nikki P. Thanks for rocking with me. I will see you on the next one. Mwah.